Woohoo! Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. I was just, I guess you call enjoying Pat Kennedy. This is Pat Kennedy singing at the Last Chance Powwow in Helena, Montana. Pat Kennedy was one of my uncles. This was in 2002. And we're going to put that on pause. 2002, they were the host drum at Last Chance Powwow, which is usually about the third week in September in Helena, Montana. So, woohoo! Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I just got back from Nistu Nidaniko Mokoyo Sukoi, and I was out a couple hours hiking. looking at all the water and how high the water is. And I got carried away, so I'm sorry. This is what I look like when I'm trying to braid my hair and I realize it's time for Wellness Wednesday. Anyway, this is what the badass auntie's hair really looks like, eh? But you know, it's nobody's perfect, and yeah, this is what my nose is healing. It's not looking like a wino nose, but it's precancerous to stop a basal cell carcinoma, and I might be allergic to the Band-Aid, so I can't put a Band-Aid on it in the medicine, and so I have 2 more weeks where we just have to let it do what it's gonna do before the dermatologists decide what to do. But in the meantime, welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. We just finished our warrior camp with hundreds of kids at Grand Round. Lori, Newbreast, and Dwight are with some youth right outside of Seattle. Casey just got back from Arizona. And so welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We are excited. We are so excited because the Healing Together Conference is coming up in Milwaukee. There's 5 organizations who are not competing. I repeat, not competing, and they're coordinating. NAFA with Al Pooley, White Bison, Native Dads Network, Native Wellness Institute, and it's called the NIH. They're a group of diverse healers who do sound therapy, massage, and we're all coming together in Milwaukee August 4th, 5th, and 6th. So you're welcome to the American Indian Cancer Foundation with Lori Newbreast and Coco are leading that effort. And so you can register through them. But we're just excited. I'm excited, and I just want to say I'm excited because I stayed up too late last night witnessing and praying and the count of the 5 new tribal council members on the Blackfeet Tribal Council. There was 10 good people, and those 10 people, I swear to God, any one of those 10 would be good. and that's how you see the world when you have some life experience. All 10 of them were good, and it came down to one it was like couple points, couple votes, and actually won just 18 votes different, and about 3,000 people showed up to vote. 87 drove off-res from long ways away, Missoula, Seattle, I don't know, other states, Texas. They drove home to vote. So we don't have the mail-in, and we know all of that. That's some of the remedy. We're looking into the solutions, but we had a democracy. Those that could and would and should, and you have to be over 18 to vote, and you have to be an enrolled member. And yes, we are looking at how descendants, this is in the future, so pray for us. But we have a democracy. So, I'm usually, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm just sharing with you. So we witnessed all of our people campaigning, not smearing each other, loving each other, shaking each other's hand, figuring out how they could work together. And we came up with the 5 that won. And now they'll have a big ceremony next Thursday. Not this Thursday, the 3rd. Let's see, first, second. No, second. Anyway, we're at Native American Indian Days. Native American Indian Days, we call it Browning Indian Days. They'll have a ceremony in which we inaugurate the 5 that won. And then amongst the 9, because we have 9, and those are our leaders, and we have really good leaders right now. There's diversity in age, diversity in skin color, diversity in accepting the way the world is. There's traditionalists. There's some organized religion. There's just we have 9 leaders who will be inaugurated. And then they, among themselves, these leadership, because we trust them, because we voted for them, they will decide who's chairman, who's vice chairman, who's secretary, and who's treasurer. So, but I wanted just to remind you, because woohoo! You're all welcome to come. You got time to drive here. You got time to hitchhike here. You got time to fly here. We're having all of our veterans from all over Canada, the Blackfoot Confederacy, all of our Korean vets, all of our World War II vets, all of our World War I vets, I swear, all of our vets are getting together across the lake from my house. Woo-hoo! I'm just so excited. They're coming here Saturday for a 1-day veterans celebration of 250 years, and they didn't wipe us out. They tried to wipe us out. I swear, 300 years ago, they tried to wipe us out. They wiped out some, but they didn't wipe out all of you 577 tribes who are here. They didn't wipe you out. All of you First Nations and Métis, they didn't wipe you out. So get your ass over here and dance with us on Saturday, because we're celebrating the 250 years that we've thrived, that we've kept our language, that we've kept our ceremonies, that we're getting back our bundles, and we're celebrating that we have, there's so much to celebrate! Lame Bull Treaty, Treaty 7. We have all these treaties, and they don't care who's in Washington, D.C. right now. They'll be dead, and our treaties will still be solid. 6 Acantippi Blackfoot Confederacy treaties. But think about, those are treaties with human beings. I was just the reason I was 2 hours on this walk is I started out with some tobacco, some Pastascan. And, and I love when people give me tobacco. It is the most humbling. It is the most cherished. Give your elders tobacco. But I have this little tiny bag that someone gave me in Bishop, California. And I just been taking a little bit because, see, the spirits, they aren't like Napi Koan, Napi Yakis. They don't think that way. The spirits, you could just have a little bitty piece of tobacco. And so sometimes you just take a pinch. And my dad, Manokani, he'd say, take some black dirt with your left hand and put that pastascan. And when you pray, you give your ancestors a smoke. So I did that. So next thing, it was 2 hours later, and I'm talking about treaties. And so I was so elated because the berries are late, but the berries have turned green to a little red hue. So that means berries. You call them Saskatoon, you call them service berries. All the berries are going to be, with all this rain and flooding and all that, we're going to have berries. So, I tell you, down here, I'm going to go up to Waterton tomorrow. They're having Blackfoot authors at 117 Waterton. I'll be in Waterton, Alberta, and it's from 12 to 3. They're going to have some readings. They're all the ones that wrote books. They're all the ones that are going to read from Indigenous knowledge. So you're all welcome to that. I'll be there. Please, if you're there, please come up and hug me. And I just want to hug. I want to connect. I want to listen to our authors talk about Indigenous knowledge. I want to listen to our authors talk about how we bring back the language, how we bring back protocols, how we bring back rite of passage, how we just be who we are. Woohoo! So you're all welcome. This is what's going on here. And I decided to, I'm sitting in my living room, you know, and because this is my place of comfort. I got back. I didn't have time to braid my hair. I was eating some dry meat. We had grandma's dry meat, so I was eating dry meat on the way, just in the walk. So what other treaties? Some of the other treaties, I was looking at the licorice root, because now the licorice root is tall as me, you know, and that's what the bears, the Boxiquay and the Kyayo, love to dig. That licorice root is about this big, and God, it tastes like black licorice, but it's more than that. It's so delicious. And so we have a treaty with that plant. Sixakatipi, Blackfoot, other tribes, and not just us. Licorice plant is so good for you. Licorice plant, licorice root, you know, you can dig it, you can dry it, you can put it in other remedies, especially if you put it in other remedies where it's got a hard taste, because sometimes children don't like the hard taste. If you put a little bit of licorice root in there, it makes it taste delicious. Always just put a little bit of that licorice root in your potions or in your tinctures or just put it in there. It'll all work out. So there's a treaty with that. So when I put out the tobacco, and it was just a little bit of tobacco, I put it on my brother's sweat, yellow, Sinapa, yellow paint buffalo. He used to sweat here, and he moved away for 20 years, and he's back home. But he has all his sweat rocks. They're kind of like real sacred over there. So I was just putting out the pastascan, the tobacco, and I said, let me see clearly the plants that we have treaties with, and have a little conversation with them, talk to them, ask them when they're going to be ready. And you should always put your tobacco down, you know, at the base of the plant or around the plant, and all year long, you know, like if you walk by it, it's not just when you harvest it. The treaty is to put it down there. And then that's when I looked up and I saw the Savis berries were turning, because that berry, that Saskatoon and that berry is big part of a treaty that we have with Boxiquay and Kyayo. And it's so important, because now I just got excited, because I don't know exactly, nobody knows. It might be a couple of weeks, there'll be a ripe one. And the first time you see that ripe berry, this may be protocols with huckleberries and other chokecherries, but with that berry, you get to hold that berry, that Savis berry, that Saskatoon, and you get to cherish it and reignite the treaty that we have between that berry and our people. And it's about spiritual protection. You pray with it, you know, spumukana, siksikai, kainai, a batsapikani, and an amskapi pikani, and spumukana, all the other 500 tribes in the lower 48, all of the thousands of First Nations and Métis, and all of the villages in Alaska. And then you can go around the globe. You can pray for everybody with that berry. And you take that berry, and you can ask. There's an ask in it. You ask that all of the bears be taken care of and protected. You can ask for, if you got 50 great grandchildren and 1,000 grandchildren, and adopted, or they came out of your DNA. No matter what, you can ask into the future, into the I always ask for 10 generations when I pray with that berry. Please let the 10 generations from now thrive in prosperity and abundance. Thrive in prosperity and abundance. And so you could say, and you could say, you could do the ask. So today, since it's flooding and there's so much water everywhere, just thanking, rather than, bitching and complaining, you say the prayer, thank you for the rain. Thank you for all the water. Thank you for the wells. Thank you for watering everything. Thank you for the greenness. Thank you for the wildflowers. Name every flower, because there's camas. There's camas flowers. There's rose, tiny rose hips. There's all the, so just with that berry. Okay, so that's the treaty. Just remember, say your prayers, and then you can also say what you're going to do on your part. Like, don't be embezzling, eh? Don't be stealing and thieving. Don't be, violently using words, lateral violence and lateral gossip. When you gossip, if you gossip about someone, you should pretend they're standing right next to you or they're sitting next to you. That's how you learn to talk about people in a spiritual way. You don't defame, you don't slander. So you could also ask for your character defects, they say in Alcoholics Anonymous or in AA. If your character defect is procrastination, you can ask for help with that. If your character defect is that you embellish, like people that exaggerate, like there was 3 Indians there, but they had 10 big Indians. They exaggerate, so that's like a half truth. You're not telling the truth when you exaggerate. You should state the facts. So all of this berry, this treaty with this berry, and then once you say those prayers, and that's why I'm excited that I put out the tobacco, that I could gather the spiritual wherewithal in myself and with my family, and that we could all move forward in a good way in 2026, till the next equinox on September 22nd, and until the next solstice, December 21st, 2026. Because for some reason, those are the clumps, those are Indian time. We keep track of the equinox and the solstice and what's in between. And so, you have the thoughts, I think, wow, shoot, I have to be ready for winter by September 22nd. So, if you want to go get my wood and chop it for me. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's you start to think about. So, reeling it back, we'd like to invite you to, and it's sponsored by Manpower. It's the Veterans Powwow, and it starts at noon, grand entry. And it will go until the evening. But they're raffling a brand new lodge, with teepee poles. The teepee poles, the door, the buttons, a raffle. And it's usually only $20 a try. So you should come, because somebody's going to win that. I should enter this time. I'll be really happy to see who wins, because I'm just going to hug the hell out of them. I'm just going to say, oh, you got a new lodge. And then, we were told that if you know your family designs and you have, at BCC, they cited, Alden Spoonhunter, Helen Auger, and Omisio, Lola, they all have rights to paint teepees, as well as you can go to the Ganaxtamata. There's all transfer. You should get a new lodge, and you should put your family design on it and get it transferred to, and they wear out. So the next 10 generations, make sure everybody has a lodge, that they're not sleeping in some kind of tent. I mean, a white tent. Because those blow away in a blizzard. You need a tent. You need a lodge that stays up at any 100 mile an hour, 100 mile an hour. Let's see that, I don't know, kilometers. Stuff that usually blows around our lodges were solid and designed, the architectural design. Plus they have spiritual. They have spiritual protection on the ears. You know, they have the seven brothers. They have the bunch stars. They have the way that it's put up. The way that, you know, we didn't use stakes, but we used to use holy rocks. You know, and now, man, they're discovering all these holy rocks, because you know, some are 500 years old, some are 10,000 years old, and that means where our people put up their lodge. That's where they camped, because it was usually near water, it was near where you could hunt, it was near where you were out of the wind. You know, our ancestors were scientists. They are scientists. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Welcome here. You know, I had a couple things I just wanted to share with you, because why we have to be patient. You know, I just learned over several years how to take an Aniscum. We at Blackfeet Community College at the language colloquium, we took a day and we had a lot of our, let's see, there was Dustin Walters and Shelley Eli, Helen and Sheldon Carlson, and Carol Murray came, and Marvin Weatherwax. There was just, and we had all these students, and we went out to Buffalo Lake. Now, I always tell people, okay, females tell directions different than males. So if you go where Ethel Conley's veterinarian building is, you go there and you hook a left. And you go, and a couple miles before the border, you look to the right, and that's called Buffalo Lake. And that was where we went out, but we got this little Aniscum. And so we learned about this one. I painted, I was transferred that right by Sukum, Rick Grounds. And I sewed the inside and on each side, and then you should always have a bed of buffalo fur and a little bit of sage that I had just harvested, so that it looks like a buffalo, and it's an Aniscum. But this Aniscum, they're way over there, but I have this one on. I've been wearing them, and I have 3 grandchildren that live over there by Leaning Tree. And this Saturday, I'm gonna have Roger and Charlene, you know, sing the song and give them for protection, because one of them is, you know, she's barrel racing, and one, he's just so young, but he's riding those little steers. I mean, when you're 9 years old and you're riding steers, or little steers, you need protection. But you also need protection of your mind, body, and spirit. I was noticing with my grandson, and I want to call him my great nephew, but he's my grandson. He really wants to pick up the language. He really, and he has reference to things. Like I notice when he calls, he'll call a person, instead of their name, he'll call them a person. Isn't that interesting? His own world view. Because he said, "Hey, person." And rather than say her name, because he was just meeting her, but he wasn't getting used to, so he just called her person. But then think about that. When your concept of a human being is just a person, not male, not female, not, you know, African American, not, you know, Navajo, not whatever. And that's a 9-year-old just saying that's a person. And that almost kind of gives it such a beautiful way of every human being is a person. So, you know, anyway, so this Aniscum, but it took me a while because I found some aniscums, and then thank you, Trace Yellow Owl. Some of the ones that I thought were aniscum were paint, and she said I have to boil them because it might be blue paint and it might be black paint. But anyway, I had these little aniscums, and then I keep looking at them back over there, and this is my living room. I'll just take a moment, and like your living room should be where you feel comfortable. Your living room should be, where you feel at ease. And I was thinking, so I was fortunate in 2023 September, I won the Buffalo lottery. And I was one of the first females to win the lottery. And so my Chaz Racine and some of my other nephews helped me. And my niece, CNC Meats, Christine, and her daughter, and her boyfriend at the time, they all helped me go harvest this buffalo. And this buffalo, this Eni that you see right here, one of my nephews said, you should get that mounted, and I'm, I don't know. So I said, yeah, I should. Because we got like 523 pounds of good meat off of it, but most of that was gifted to ceremonies and such. But he said you should get it mounted. So I went to this person that he goes to and they take out the skull, and they have terms for this, but I got the buffalo skull mounted, and I brought it home, and I'm sitting on the tan buffalo robe, and I wasn't quite sure. So this happened, we harvested it in 2024 because I had 9 months after I won it to harvest. And so when it was ready in 2025, I brought it in and I put it in my living room because I haven't decided where it should go. And I just thought, this should go in my living room. So when you come to my house, I mean, I'd be rolling around in the buffalo robe because it feels normal and natural. And I thought, this is how my ancestors were. They just had a buffalo robe, and it's so comfortable, and then, so then they mount. But I'll tell you, I'm just sharing it because the spirit, they thought he was about 7 years old. And if you can see on his horns, he had a lot of fights because his horns, that's his skull, the white skull. There was a lot of fights, and then on his body, there was a lot of ripping. And that's kind of like, in life, we have a lot of scars. That's why, it's okay if I'm scarred. It's part of my life experience of not having cancer. And so this buffalo, oh, it was so strong. It was so incredibly strong. And I just say that the strength of it, because we were with Chaz and one of my nephews that is hunted and harvest a lot. A couple of my nephews. When of course you should always get someone who kills it with that first shot. And so it was killed with that first shot. So you don't have someone who's, out there missing, and you never have, there's a protocol of never hurting the animal and letting it suffer. And so we did prayers before they went out, and then they shot it. And when they brought it back, and they have the equipment, because Christine, they had the back of their truck. So they started gutting it, but they could see on its belly that this guy had been fighting a lot. And so that means, he'd been fighting either with other bulls or protecting the whole herd or whatever he was doing for 7 years. He was a badass. Because if you got a lot of scars, I mean, everyone who has perfect skin, they're not a warrior. If they have perfect skin, or they don't have a couple, whatever, I just won't judge. If they have perfect skin, very unlikely that they're a warrior, male, female, or two-spirit, because you have our body wears all of our life experience, just like, well, the Maori have their Ta'amoko, just like the Ta'amoko memorializing when my father died in 2002. I love this because this memorializes my dad. This is the male part of your body, and this is the female part of your body. That's why this is like the Ta'amoko. So thinking, all of us persons, all of us human beings have both the male and the female inside of us. And so with this Ini, with this buffalo, he was so strong. Even after we cut off his head, this head that even when his head was cut off, they'll still kick. Their back body is so strong, they'll still kick, and that's when it's dangerous. You have to wait until that nerve, or till that. And it's like the spirit of the Ini. It's like all of us. There's about 6 of us, and we were waiting, and then all of a sudden there'd be a quiet, and the buffalo wouldn't be kicking. It wouldn't be kicked, because that kick could hurt you real bad. And so you don't be around that. And so then we were waiting and we waited. And right when we think it was gone, that it was totally passed on, its head was cut off. It would kick. It would be so freaking strong. It would kick. It would kick. And then we all kind of looked at each other, because, when Blackfeets, they communicate by looking at each other, and they go, whoa, the spirit of this Ini is strong. We look at each other, and it makes me have tears, because I saw how strong he was. And so it was very important. There's 140 uses for an Ini, a buffalo, 140. And I've shared with you before, I needed to get the bladder out and blow it up and let it dry, and give it to one of my elders across the medicine line, and the hide. So anyway, that's what I'm sitting on today, because right now I just feel like we have to be really grounded. I mean, on the other side of the earth, my mom keeps me up on the news, and the earthquakes at Venezuela. And my mom's the kind that, prays for everybody. So she's praying for all those that were lost in the earthquake. And I think our earth is changing. It's flooding here. I went for walks, and I had to wear my mucks up to my knees, because some was muddy and wet. And water. Yes, and I do still get some water in a plastic bottle. This water, I will never complain. It is flooding. But the earthquakes, if you think of our Sakum, our earth, that big round ball that we all live on, these persons, we live on here, and it's changing. And scientists are trying to analyze it, the axis of the earth, this big round ball that we live on. But we know, just this morning, my mother was saying, pray for all of those in Boston. She was telling me it's 106. And so she was so my mom, when we talk about our dreams, and we speak every morning, and she said, pray for those people that's 106. And then I just thought, oh my God, if it was 106, I would just jump and stay in the water. Because that's reservation air conditioning. You just stay in the cool glacier water. Anyway, so this spirit of this Ini that you see in my living room, I just decided to keep it there, because it protects where my family prays. We grind medicine right here. There's the Niskum necklaces. There's my Kami Poismanix, my stand-up. There's the last drum that my dad made. I guess it's kind of, like most And then behind my stand-up headdress, there's my grandma Agnes Atstanikiwa and my mom's mom, Awalski. I've had that picture of those two grandmas since I was a teenager. When we moved off the reservation, I got their picture um, made into that big poster that you see back there. And I've always had it in my living room. And I don't know, this is this idea that I had when I was like 12 or 13 years old. I put it in the living room so that my grandmothers could see how I live. So imagine all of you, welcome to Wellness Wednesday and your grandpas. But for me as a female, I put my grandmas to see, so my grandmas could see how I live and what is brought into this living room and what is in, so then it just got, I was grinding. So I got some flat cedar. I got some high cedar from Wind River Canyon. I got some sweet pine. I mean, and I'm not, I'm not advertising that I'm going to send it to you. You go get your own. Indian up. It's not about ordering it on Amazon or getting it on Instagram. Get your Indian butt out on the land. It's time that you go harvest your own gossamer or sage. You get to harvest your berries. All those treaties. Harvest your licorice plant. Harvest. You want indigenous knowledge? Get your butt out on the land. Learn and read the land and get off your frickin' screen. Just really talking tough. But that's today, like, that's why I didn't have time to braid my hair. And then I was just saying, just all shaggy. And then I keep debating, should I, color my hair or should I go gray? And I go back and forth. And this is just me, just me. So this spirit of this buffalo, this Eni, has been sitting in my living room. And then, I had a bunch of guests from Alaska, and I had a bunch of guests there was 2 sun dances, Joe Kipp and out at Russell Kitson and Jenny. And then there was a transfer of a thunder pipe at the La Framboise. There was so much of praying. And so we had thunder and lightning and rain and thunder. And that's what you have in those ceremonies, thunder and lightning and rain. There was all this company. So I had company coming, and I was vacuuming and getting, because people would be coming by, and my granddaughter that I hadn't seen since she was born came from Alaska. And so I was vacuuming, and I looked around and I thought, should I move the buffalo robe? No. Should I move my buffalo? No. And then this is like one of my good friends. See my wolf? I don't know if you, with the light, how the light is, but you see that wolf? That's one of my gifts from Kaysen and Jim McNeely. That was Jim McNeely's dad used to dance with that. And he just gifted that to me. He gifted it to me, and it sat in my mom's house, and she prayed with it for a long time, and I just put it up on the stand there, So I was thinking, it was just kind of interesting, like some, and I never want to judge, like how white people decorate their, or how minimalist white people, everything's painted white. Notice how white people, their walls are painted white. See, my walls have all kinds of color. Diversity. Anyway, and so I just decided to put it there because my company, and I have little people, 7-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, and they get to ask all kinds of questions, and so far I haven't, I just pray with it, and I pray with this Eni, I pray with, I look at all oh yeah, I got a Red Nations Film Festival. I won Best Documentary. Good for Red Nations. It's all women's, and she's sober. Janelle Romero. She's gone through a lot. She's, some people say she's a pretend Indian, but she's a good woman. I won Best Documentary in 2013, and that's free. It's on YouTube. It's called Why the Women in My Family Don't Drink Whiskey. And you can go and watch it. And I won that statuesque. Yee! That's my Oscar. I already did that. Hey. I don't really. It's weird that. And then, what else is it was the 5th annual Blackfeet Two Spirit Parade and Rally. And I got to, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. It was raining, and then we paraded through town. And then they gave me a bunch of gifts. So I'm just setting it right there. So thank you, Montana Two Spirit Society. They gave me new flags. They gave me everything that it's just such a beautiful thought. And then they just called me yesterday, or day before yesterday, and said, you are registered for the 30th Annual International Two-Spirit Gathering on Flathead Lake. And I was just like, woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you! And so I said, is it okay if I just come and I don't have to present or anything? I could just visit with people, do one-on-ones. I'll do my time in the teepee, where we lake a smudge and you help people. But is it okay if I kind of just come and heal? And I asked because God damn it, I'm 70 years old and I gotta chill out a little. I gotta still heal. So I'm going to the 30th Annual International Two-Spirit Conference on Flathead Lake. And that's August 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, and 16th. And they said they'll have a place for me in the elders cabin. So I'm just planning on, and I'm encouraging you. I'm sharing this. I'm encouraging you to do your self-care. Plan the things. I'm all excited. I had to get out more of the powwow chairs and get them ready for this Saturday. And then it's Indian Days the next weekend. And then, it's just, plan the things with your family of choice, especially in recovery, because you don't want to be planning things with your family who's going to get all somehow, once they start drinking that Coors and Budweisers, it ain't going to turn out pretty. The behavior will start. So, and plan to give people gifts. That's my favorite thing is just to start to plan for gift giving. So I was just, cause we're going to have a naming ceremony of one of our veterans over here. He wants a private ceremony because he's humble. Anyway, he's a vet. He's a police officer for many years, but he's going to get his Indian name. So my duty is to get the gifts and that kind of just get things ready. And then these Aniskum. I've been having these Aniskum laying in front of this buffalo because I said, Buffalo, would you please say the prayers for this Aniskum? Laid in its bed of buffalo hair and of sage. And so it's they just been feeling comfortable there. And so I will give it to the grandchildren. They will be transferred to the grandchildren on Saturday, and we'll have a naming ceremony. And this is a vet who's been asking for a name for a few years. And sometimes, in your family, when you're given a name, I think he wanted me to give him a name, but I think men need to give men names. And so I asked my relative if he would give him a name and we're doing prayers, and I described what he was like, but he's going to do the naming. So it's a time to get your name, and it's a time, if you have a good coup story, that you get renamed. It's a time, to make sure, because when you get your Indian name, you get spirit protectors. When you wear this Aniskum, you get spirit protectors. When you go and help with the Sundance and build the Sundance, the reach poles, when you bring the food, when you do any of that, you get a blessing, you get protection. And those are all treaties. The United States of America is celebrating a puny 250 years, but we're celebrating 250 centuries, eh? There's his name is Dustin Crawford. He has the oldest DNA in the genomes. That they're finding out, that some of us tribal people, some of this tribe, we got the oldest DNA. And so, even, if you need that scientist, to find out where you're from and all that, just do it. Just do it. And so I wanted to come to you. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. We've been here since the 80s. We're an official 501c3. We're a nonprofit, but our executive director, and we have the best executive director, Jalene Joseph, she calls us social profit because we're all about healing. We're an NGO, non-government organization. We deal with healing. We have all kinds of, online grief and loss, Zoom, healthy relationships, being an ally. We have training for the non-natives and how non-natives what's their behavior when they work with the tribes. We've had a humongous, right after COVID, we've been doing retreats, wellness in the workplace. We do retreats. My next job for NWI, well, I'm working right now. Wellness Wednesday. But I'm going to the Wampanoag, and so I've been doing prayers. They were the ones who fed the pilgrims in 1621 so that the pilgrims didn't starve to death. Just imagine if we would have just whacked their heads off and didn't let them come on the land. Just whack their heads off and say, no, we're not going to be kind. We're not going to feed you. You got to go back to your own land, eh? Go back to Europe, eh? Go back to Britain. Go back to France. Go back to Russia. This ain't your land. Land back, eh? Anyway. Yeah, see, that makes me the good humor. So that's my next job. I gotta fly. So I was just thinking today, I'm gonna enjoy my time on Indian Days. I'm gonna enjoy my time at Indian Relay. I'm gonna enjoy my time this Saturday. I'm gonna get ready, and there's lots of good food. The vendors, they made the vendors pay $200 each to get a spot. So that means they're gonna be really good vendors. Not only, in food, but in clothes, and all kinds of jewelry and all kinds of, and then they're going to raffle that teepee. So anyway, I just said, I'm going to go and, take all my other, maybe I have some relatives. They don't have an extra $20 right now. They're just paying gas prices. I'm going to, get them a ticket, put their name on it. Let's put their name on it, because somebody's going to walk away on Saturday afternoon. Someone's going to win that lodge and all the teepee. And I think it's an 18-footer. Not quite sure, but usually it's an 18-footer with all the teepee poles. So I'm just going to, I'm just telling you, because that's the kind of stuff, lateral kindness, sanctified kindness. Share what you have. Give away what you have. A gift is not a gift until you give it away, and so welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. This is part of our gift. This is our give back. We come here every Wednesday and we talk about positive, productive, and proactive Indian things that help your family and help you in your wellness and your recovery. And if you're clean and sober. And if you're not clean and sober, get your ass in gear. It's time. Because you need clarity with what's coming up in the world. because they can manipulate you with algorithms and all kinds of stuff. It's time to taste the colonized tears, eh? It's time that you have the legacy of your ancestors. It's time that you step up and you take that legacy and you practice learning more language and you practice being part of the ceremonies and you ask questions and you mentor. It's time. It's that time. And that's, the prayer for my grandchildren and these niskums that they're going to get on Saturday, these necklaces. It's time that we take a stand. You've been taking a stand. I thought about these 10 people who ran for tribal council, the 62, and then it was 10. How much courage that takes. But it's time. It's time to vote. It's time to show up, and it's time to speak up. In this 250-year celebration, and you don't need to be, tearing down. I love our country. I love the American. We're just trying to make it better. But it's the standing up. I had some really good fun with the grandchildren, and in her 7-year-old mind, when it was raining so bad and we were trying to go around and look at stuff, and she was telling her mom, she said, "Mom, look at the rain is peeing." That was her description. It was like monsoon, so much rain. She said, "Mama, look at the rain is peeing." So the rain is peeing. So that's a lot of water, right? But describing it, and I go, see, she's Blackfoot. Because we describe everything. It's descriptive. Everything's descriptive. So when you're standing up, go with a kind heart. Talk slower. Listen slower. Pace yourself. Be a real Indian, eh? And because when you talk like this and you talk really fast, it's not weird. When you talk like a TikTok Indian, the spirits can't understand you. Pace yourself. Anyway, I was just thinking of that. Like today, when I was putting my tobacco, I always say, "No gaikimokit, no gaspomokit. Pity me, help me." And that's just been my no gaikimokit, no gaspomokit. Huh. I ask all those plants. I ask Ipisuwatsis, morning star, evening star, Natusi, Sakum, the earth, the moon, to pity me and to help me, to help us. And it's good to always, pray for people that ask for prayers, but pray for people even when they're doing good. I was looking at this one runner in the half marathon, this Ombicio that was running with, the sacredness and justice for missing and murdered persons. So I don't know, for some reason when I was walking, I just was praying for him. That's a lot of courage to run a half marathon with a big old red hand on your chest. And it's those kind of, so just random, it's not random, but the people you think about, take a stand and pray for them. Rather than scolding them or getting after them, pray for them. Rather than judging them or criticizing them, pray for them. Rather than, passing judgment on the millennials or Gen X, they're doing good. Look how much the millennials and Gen X have to face in this new world. They're doing good. pray for them. So, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. It's good to have tears. I've had a lot of tears. Being out at 2 Medicine, I had a lot of tears. That day when, anyway, there was a lot piercing. Just pray for them. Because once you enter that world, you start to change. You start to transform. My only life experience is 10 years dancing with that bundle, and it transformed me, and it's still transforming me. So take a stand. Go to the Okan. Don't be side-eyeing Indians. Don't be judging. Go up and shake their hand. Go up and hug them. That's taking a stand. Shake their hand. Start new. Forgive. Lateral forgiveness and start over. Because when we do that, we're going to be strong. Not competing with each other. Not egotistical. Not just all testosterone. Have some grandma medicine in there. Have some auntie medicine in there. Have some mother medicine in there. Whew. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We always come to you every week to share some stories, to share some insight that we hope inspires you to do life, to do self-care. Native Wellness, we really want you to take better care of your mind, body, and spirit. And and as I look up, when I look up and I look at, looks like I have a third eye. But that's just the medicine working so that I don't get cancer. I thought, what if they have to chop off my nose? Anyway, alcoholics, we think like that. They won't. It's going to heal. So I'll ask you, please pray for this healing on my nose. And it's this morning, and I have to take my mom's order. She said, don't be out in the sun. So I have a hat, and I can't wear the Band-Aids because I'm allergic to the adhesive. Anyway, so I'll be wearing a hat, and I have 3 umbrellas. What is a badass auntie in there? Hudson Bay color. Prayer colors. I have 3 umbrellas. So if you see me, I need one of those umbrellas over your head. Anyway, just ask, pray for some healing, and then pray for those who are suffering with getting their chemo, right now, and getting their dialysis. Pray for those on dialysis right now. That's taking a stand. That's doing the prayer. That's that. If we're all praying for each other, guess what? Things are gonna go good. And that's what my little granddaughter, she was smudging all her stuffed animals. And her two moms, her 2 parents were listening to her, and she was smudging him, and she goes, this is so everything will go good. Her little sweetgrass smudging her little animals. And she goes, this is so everything will go good. Because that's what she learned at the Sundance. So now she knows to smudge every morning and smudge herself, smudge her parents, her 2 moms, and smudge all her animals, and everything will go good. So with that thought, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I think it's been an hour. I want to thank you for listening. You can go to www.nativewellness.com and request any of our team. We have so much good going on. You can visit with Jolene on an email or a Zoom, or I think she might be coming home Indian Days. I hope she does come here for Indian Days. But that's Native Wellness Institute, and we're here every Wednesday, and I think it's been an hour. So with that, well, I hope that I said something. Lisa, when I'm dead, remember something I said. At least something. Anyway, we'll love you. Kitsikako mem. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Kitaki tomatsu no.